Hi, how are you doing? This is Pastor Cheryl. I have been wanting to make this video for, a couple of weeks now and just kept, sticking with the Bible study that we've been going through. But I think this is a good time to mention this. We have a few YouTube um, Bible thumper type preachers, fundamentalists, and they're prophets, and they're kind of doomsday prophets, and they will say things that will upset you. And however, make note of what they're saying, write it down, pray about it. Lately, the prediction has been about war. We're supposed to get nuked. One was on YouTube this morning saying that we were going to get some nuclear bombs dropped along either coast, and then a really big one in the center of the United States to annihilate the entire United States. Do you really think somebody would do that? And why? Why? Russia has had a plan for something like this for a long time. Now they claim that Iran wants to do that, and Russia with Iran. Um, I don't think Iran could pull it off, and Russia's really short on soldiers, and so then the worry is, what if China attacks us? China doesn't like to go to war. They don't like that at all. They avoid war. They avoid going to war altogether. They have had a few wars, but they know better. Like, when Napoleon took over Europe, and then he died of stomach cancer, same thing as his father had. We don't know if he was exposed to something or if it was hereditary. We don't know. But he uh Europe went back to being the little countries that they always were. Same thing happened with Hitler and those little countries after they were taken over and by Hitler. Then they went right back to where they were. And the only thing they achieved was killing a lot of people and destroying a lot of property. That's the only thing they achieved. And so China has a tendency to avoid war and not believe in it. And Europe will say things like, "Oh, Hitler, why were you so offended by him? He was another Napoleon." I've seen him say that. I went over there to visit, and I've seen him say that. And I'm like, boy, he was really the exception to the rule. Killing off all the Jewish people. Whoa, concentration camps. Oh my gosh. Anyway, we don't necessarily believe in stuff like this either. We don't believe going in some other country and taking over. Despite whatever Trump is doing, he's just shooting off his mouth and embarrassing the heck out of us. He wants Canada, he wants Mexico. He's just alienating these people. He's alienating our allies in case anything really does happen. So, anyway, you have to keep these things in prayer. We're supposed to have another plague. It's supposed to start over in Europe. Possibly. Watch for it. There's supposed to be 3 days of darkness where we are not supposed to go outside because we poison air or something. And demons lurking in the dark. Anyway, pray about that too. There's something going on with their sun. And I think it's slowly getting old and burning out. And anyway, we're all supposed to, stock up at the grocery store, non-perishable foods. The economy was supposed to crash. this past November, and it did not. And now they say it will crash. What crashed was China's economy. They crashed. Their little um, banks closed, and they're hurting. So we don't need to hurt them more. You tell that to Trump. We don't need to hurt China more. In fact, they could use our help. Yeah, they would make a good ally. China's big. So anyway, keep those things in prayer and don't get all upset thinking, we're going to get nuked tomorrow. Right now, we're not seeing any evidence of that. They said we'll be surprised. There'll be a few East Coastland cities nuked. And right now, Russia is not showing any interest in doing that. They're all involved with this Ukraine thing. And I wish they would give up. Just give it up. It's been going on too long. That war has been going on too long. And so I just didn't want anybody to. The problem is these doomsday prophets make it sound really, really scary and like the world's coming to an end. Like the book when we were kids, Little Chicken Little. The sky is falling, says Chicken Little. Okay, you get the idea. Yes, someday we might have a World War III. We might have a civil war someday. We might have wars overseas. We might have other little wars. Right now we're having kind of a verbal war between Trump and other countries, and he's doing let's make a deal with other countries with this tariff thing. And it's really to the point where we say, forget the tariffs. These people have no money, have very little money. Forget the tariffs. Let's just be friends. It's called free trade. Remember my grandfather talking about that when we were kids. He really believed in free trade. We'll trade our apples for your tennis shoes and that sort of thing. It keeps people friendly and it keeps things friendly. Right now, China could use our help. The economy crashed. We don't need to be threatening them. They don't need threats. And I kind of feel sorry for that little Chinese man, who's their emperor. He comes over here looking lost. I mean, it's so forlorn and so lost. I feel sorry for him. And Putin's something else. I think he's the devil warmed over. It's just, I really don't like the guy. And I don't trust him. I would trust Xi, the Chinese emperor, who's not a Christian, over Putin, who's, Russian Orthodox. I would. But when you hear about these terrible things happening or going to happen, pray about it and just tell God you don't want those things to happen. And God will make those arrangements for you. Okay? I'll see ya. Bye-bye.